Hi there, everybody. Welcome to this month's monthly screener newsletter. For those of you who don't know, at the end of every month, we send out a screener newsletter that shows you different strategies that we use to screen out stocks using our equity screener. You can use this information to potentially apply it to your own investment research. This month, we're going to look at small cap companies who have IPO'd recently with strong management effectiveness. We're going to look for management effectiveness because there's a strong correlation between the management effectiveness of these small companies and their performance. Before I go ahead and get started, I want to inform you all that the information provided in this screener newsletter video is for guidance purposes only, and you can feel free to change around the numbers or the metrics and anything else we go over to best suit your investment style. To navigate to the equity screener, we're going to hover over Tools, no matter where you are on the site, and you can click the equity screener. Once here, you notice that we start out with our entire list of equities. There are two main functions here, and they are Modify Equity Universe, which essentially is a filter based on qualitative information, and Add a Metric Filter, which is a filter based on quantitative information. Because cap size is a metric filter, we can go ahead and add a metric filter and type in market cap. We said we wanted to look at small cap companies, and small cap is characterized by market caps between $300 million and $2 billion. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here, 200 million and 3 billion. So as you can see, that brings us down to 3,846 results. Let's actually go ahead and simplify this and give us less results. So I'm actually going to remove this filter, which you can do by clicking remove. And I'm actually going to go ahead and use the S&P Small Cap 600. So I'm going to go ahead and click Modify Equity Universe, select Indices, and here it is, the S&P Small Cap 600. Submit. So the first metric filter that we're going to add is, we said we wanted to look at young companies. So I can go in here and type years since IPO between 1 and 10 years. So we want to see if they've IPO'd within the last 1 to 10 years. Hit submit, and we're down to 115 results. Now let's get to looking at management effectiveness. The first one we want to look at is ROA, or return on assets. This is important because growth in ROA shows improvement for young companies in using assets to improve returns for their shareholders. How are we going to do this? We're going to compare recent ROA to historical median values for ROA. I'm going to go ahead and do that by adding a metric filter. Type in return on assets, TTM, so the more recent one, should be greater than 1.2 times the 3-year median for return on assets. So I'm going to type in return on assets, 3-year median. So to make this completely clear, I'm saying the return on assets in the past 12 months should be greater than 20% more than the median value for the 3-year return on assets. So I hit submit. Boom, we're down to 32 results. The next metric we want to look at for management effectiveness is the return on invested capital, or ROIC. This shows the effectiveness in using existing capital to invest in PP&E, R&D, and product development. I'm going to go ahead and type in return on invested capital. Just so I can show you the percentile feature, we're going to choose the top 50 percentile of return on invested capital sequential. And before I do that, I want to explain the difference between sequential and universe. Sequential means that you select the percentile based on this current list of stocks that you have right now, as opposed to universe, which refers to the entire equity universe of 21,000 stocks and ETFs. So I'm going to go ahead and hit sequential. We're going to set top 50%, hit submit, and now we're down to 13 results. The final measure of management effectiveness that we're going to use is operating margin. It's essentially the proportion of revenue left over after paying the variable cost of production. It shows that the company is doing more with less, showing scalability, which is ideal for investors. It's a better metric to use than profit margin because it takes out the cost of production, and profit margin can be manipulated through accounting. We're going to apply the same type of filter to operating margin as we did with return on assets, as we want to see recent operating margin would be significantly greater than the 3-year median. Again, go operating margin. TTM should be greater than 1.2 times operating margin 3-year median. I'm going to hit submit. And that brings us down to 7 results. So this is the final set of stocks that we're going to work with. You can do further analysis on these stocks by creating scoring models. You can score the stocks based on different metrics and different weights. You can add metric columns just to view different metrics, such as returns. So if you want to see the returns, for example, I could go in here and add 3-year total returns. Hit submit. And that column comes up here at the end, but I never screened for it. It's just a good way to look at it. And you can also do the same thing with info column. So if you want to view some qualitative information, you can just add an info column. You can save this as a watch list and export this data to Excel. Another cool feature that I want to show you is our alerts. So I can save this screen as small cap effectiveness. Hit save. I can go ahead and activate alerts when stocks fall in and out of the screen by clicking here, and I can deactivate them by clicking here again. That'll do it for this month's edition of the YCharts monthly screener newsletter. Remember to stay tuned for next month's monthly screener newsletter, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your customer success manager. Thank you.